I wrote up a show last week that I told you guys I was wanting to talk about some Colts. And I'm going to just discuss it here because I wanted to talk about the decline of the Colts. I follow this team. I really wanted them to be in the mix for the playoffs. But they have went from a Super Bowl favorite to literally being in free fall and missing the playoffs in a matter of weeks. And I wrote this down last week. Chris Ballard was probably drinking last Sunday night. The worst possible outcome for this season has happened. Daniel Jones tore his ACL. Sauce Gardner almost tore his, kind of felt like he did tear his. And now you're going to a 44-year-old grandfather to be your starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Now, granted, I thought Riley Leonard last week actually played pretty well. He made some plays. And I didn't really love the idea that, this week we're going to throw in Phillip Rivers already. But, Phillip Rivers has a relationship with Shane Steichen. I thought just the idea of Phillip Rivers, been out for 5 years, had a case for the Hall of Fame just coming up round, like throwing all of that away for this roster kind of felt insane. But if you're Phillip Rivers that felt like you were in physical shape, and granted, this roster, they have the tools. You saw it yesterday. Like, I didn't watch this game, like, play by play, because I had Red Zone on. I was trying to watch the Packers game. This game wasn't on my radar. Granted, I want to watch some Phillip Rivers, but when I saw this game, I really just saw more Colt stuff with Phillip Rivers than I saw the Seahawks offense. So I have to go back and discuss this game because I want to discuss this team tomorrow. The Seahawks, I've been in love with them. Kind of concerning that they were in a field goal battle with a 44-year-old grandpa who could barely throw the ball yesterday. Kind of concerning. We'll discuss them more tomorrow. But the Colts just got to be a sucky season. Daniel Jones, him tearing his Achilles, not shocked. I mean, he's out there playing with a broken fibula. That's going to cause you to favor, and I know this because I've studied it in college. It's going to cause you to favor that other leg. So you got a guy out there playing with a broken fibula. Like, we knew this was possibly going to happen. Like, there's no way the Colts were just super comfortable out there throwing Daniel Jones for the rest of the season out there with a broken fibula. So he ended up tearing an Achilles on his other leg because he favored that one. Just absolutely brutal for Daniel Jones. I even forgot he's already tore his ACL. And now, with these injuries, there's reports that the Colts are not even fully invested in the Jones next year. Kind of sucks. Because you got this man hurt, and you're not even at least going to respect the man and give him a shot next year? Because I think fully healthy. I don't know. Now, granted, I don't know how long Daniel Jones has been hurt. But Daniel Jones has played early on in this season very well. They were considered this like a quarterback resurrection project in Indianapolis. Now, going into this season, we were all like going bananas, like, you were, and we thought we said this was an indictment against Anthony Richardson, but we all said you would rather throw Daniel Jones out there than your guy that you invested a first round pick, 4th overall pick in Anthony Richardson. You would rather throw out there Daniel Jones, who, granted, he's a first round pick himself, but he struggled his whole career. You'd rather throw him out there than Anthony Richardson. Well, Daniel Jones was out there saying that the Colts made the right decision. But all of that has just come to an abrupt end. Like, this team has invested, the same thing with the Packers, just a lot for this season. They traded away 2 first-round picks for Sauce. He's hurt. They kind of put all the chips in the table for the season because they felt like they had the roster. And granted, the AFC this season is wide open. And if they have the roster to compete. But this quarterback thing is just going to screw them again. And this has been the case for the Colts, even when Phillip Rivers was the quarterback. Like, we always felt like the Colts, and this is a credit to Chris Ballard, like, he's built a great team over the last couple of years. But for some reason, they have not been able to get the quarterback thing right. They've tried Matt Ryan. They rolled out Carson Wentz. They've rolled out Phillip Rivers. They drafted Anthony Richardson. Like, nothing has worked. Nothing has worked. And now they resorted to a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. And yesterday, he made some plays. You know, I think yesterday really proved that this team's dead. In a go-get-it drive, when Phillip Rivers had to actually push the ball down the field, he threw an interception. Like, they came up with the stats. He was super efficient, throwing below 10 yards, throwing behind the sticks. But anything past the sticks, he was absolutely abysmal yesterday. And I think I might be harping a different tone if the Colts were able to come out with a victory yesterday, which they did. Like, that final drive where, their second final drive where Shane Steichen resorted to wanting to kick a 60-yard field goal in Seattle in those conditions with the game on the line. I was like, this guy's insane. Like, he's just throwing. I thought it was, because it was 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Like, it was kind of like a situation like, I mean, I would probably go for this on offense. But he trusted the leg of his kicker, and he made it straight down the middle. And I was like, oh my gosh. The Seattle Seahawks, who everybody, all of last week, even I was, harping on the idea that this defensive line was going to kill this man, did not have the opportunity to do so. He goes in there, gets a W, but unfortunately, even after playing a pretty good game, the Colts weren't able to get a stop, and the Seahawks get a W by kicking a game-winning field goal by Jason Myers. It was a field goal fest yesterday. I don't even think Seattle scored a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't even do anything. Like, that game yesterday, it was actually just pretty bananas all around. But that's all I got to think about that. Just the Colts decline. Man, it's just depressing. Like, if you're a Colts fan, to go from the idea of we have a Super Bowl caliber team, like we're 8-2, and I didn't even talk about this. They were 8-2 going into the bye, and now they are 8-6. They've lost 4 straight. They've lost 5 out of their last 6. And you go from a possible fringe Super Bowl contender to possibly winning 1 playoff game. And that's what I wrote last week. And now you're going from a potential Super Bowl contender to probably not even making the playoffs because your own division, the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, who I want to talk about at some point, he's balling. The Texans, that defense, phenomenal. They get a win yesterday, so they got a shot to make the playoffs. And now you're third in your division. And now you're on the outside looking in to making the playoffs. Just absolutely brutal times if you're the Indianapolis Colts. I absolutely abysmal.